Hey, I'm Mitchell Renshaw.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Renshaw.
Hi, I'm Laurie Renshaw.
Hi, I'm McKenna Porter.
Hi, I'm Greg Renshaw.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Renshaw.
Hi, I'm Hayden Renshaw.
So I first started coming to church, or first went to church in 2007. I knew a sister in the church named Melissa Goodell. She was excited about the church, so she was telling me all about it, and I was very worldly. So I was very much into my life. I had everything I wanted. I was very happy. So she'd tell me about church, and I'd kind of laugh at her. She'd tell me she didn't swear, and I'd try to get her to swear. She told me she didn't have relationships with guys, and I'd try to prove her wrong and tell her that. Even things like, hey, if I wanted to, Melissa, I could be your boyfriend or something like that, and very, very prideful. So she told me, hey, come out to church and we'll get some guys in there to work through some things with you and to talk to you about the Bible and to explain things, and just come to church and you'll love it. And so I did. After that, I ended up going. I went for a few months before someone asked me to study the Bible. And in doing so, I realized this is where happiness comes from. I started to understand God and understand what Jesus did for me. And when I started making changes in my life, I really found that God loved me and I wanted to live my life for Him. So I made some changes in my life, stopped living for myself, living for girls, living for the popularity of high school, and decided to make Jesus Lord of my life in 2008, May 20th.
When my brother Mitchell became a disciple, I started to meet together with his friend and a sister in the church and study the Bible as well, until my mom told her not to have communication with me anymore.
When my son started coming to church, the Worcester church, I didn't really agree with it. We thought, hey, he's not getting in trouble, he's not drinking, he's staying out of trouble. So it was like a safety net, but I really didn't. I'm like, who goes by the Bible?
When Mitchell was baptized, my wife Laurie and I we had actually been divorced for 2 years at that point. And I was still very much involved in my kids' lives. And Mitchell had asked me to come to his church to see him get baptized that day. And I remember walking into the church, and Mitchell introduced me to many of the people as we were walking down through the church, and these people were just overly friendly. I was just thinking, whoa, it's okay, I'm just here for the baptism. Nice people, but they just seemed so genuinely interested in me, and I just wasn't at that place of really wanting to be their friends. I was there to see my son be baptized.
At that point, I had definitely started to seek God out, and I knew where to find God if I chose to follow His word. But it took me until my junior year of high school when I really sat down and I started to study the Bible with two sisters. I'm grateful that I knew where to go when I wanted to seek God, because in my junior year of high school, I had just fallen into sin and really looked for the attention from guys and the approval from other people as well.
Fell back into the same sins I was dealing with before. I was officially disfellowshipped, I think first week of September 2008. So I made it about a year and a half, year and a quarter before. And obviously before that, I fell away from God in my heart, but that was how long it took me until I was actually asked to leave the church because of my sin.
The time I studied the Bible until I became a Christian, I really developed deep relationships with the sisters and with God, and really saw what it was like to have a relationship with God.
One of the sisters, and just took her under her wing.
Then on my baptism day, my brother came back for his first time to the church. And my baptism was May 1st, 2011.
I saw Lindsay going from a child that seemed to have some concerns in her life to just total change.
I was in a relationship at the time after I got divorced with another woman for 5 years or so. And when I really started thinking seriously about going to church, still being in the relationship that I was in, I wanted to seek one that was Bible-based. And even though the relationship I was in wasn't going by the Bible, I still knew I wanted that. So, when the relationship ended, it was one of the first things that I sought to find was a church. So we left this other church and went to Mitchell's church. We used to call it Mitchell's church.
They started going, and then they started to It was a regular thing. Every Sunday they were going, every Wednesday they were going to the church also.
I remember it being February 2011. I just saw the what the Bible is all about for the first time.
But most of all, I just noticed a lot of changes in Laurie. Steve Fillier had asked me, would you like to study the Bible? And I said, yeah, I think I would.
So I met Mitchell when I was 18. I was just graduating high school. We started dating in April of 2010, and we were pregnant in August of 2010. So that was shocking and really scary. Like, this is a guy I just met a couple months ago, and I'm pregnant.
And so we had been dating for about 2 months at that point, and this is really when I was at one of the lowest parts of my life. I was very scared for my future child and for my future girlfriend. And so that's happening. My family's starting to study the Bible. My girlfriend's pregnant. My life is in a tailspin. I start seeing everybody from church again.
Because he used to tell me about this church that he was a part of and how it was the happiest he'd ever been in his life.
Started studying the Bible again.
He told me that the way we were living and the relationship we were in was not righteous, and we were living in sin, and I just thought he was being so weird. To be honest, I told him he was crazy many times.
I had seen some huge changes. At this point, Mitchell was coming back to the church.
Made a lot of changes in my life, quit my job.
He started really talking a lot more about church and going back, and that he wanted to go back, like, seriously. And I was like, okay, go ahead, that's fine. You want to go to church, that's fine.
Can I trust God that if I break up with her, everything's going to be okay? Because in my mind, I'm thinking she could flip out and turn crazy and never let me see my daughter again, and I could have an awful relationship with her, awful relationship with my daughter. And so I kind of put that all on the line for God and said, God, if that's how my life's going to turn out, then that's the consequence of my sin. So I took the leap of faith.
I was really, I just felt so alone and so, like, lost in my life. I was 18 and pregnant, and I didn't know what to do.
And she didn't believe me or understand, and her whole family turned against me, which is understandable.
Yeah, I was trying to find scriptures to prove him wrong, and this is why you should be with me.
2011, July 3rd, I was restored officially back to the church.
So the first time he went back to church, he said, "Oh, you can come with me." So my first time to church was Lindsay's baptism. So I started studying the Bible, and seeing how much God loved me was like, this is so amazing. Like, there's no other kind of love like this. That, mixed with having a daughter of my own, showed me how God loves. I started studying May 1st, and I got baptized on September 11th of 2011.
My life forward just came together. My life was a mess before that. And as soon as I went to seek out God to help, it just came in line so quickly. So I got baptized May 20th, 2011.
In January of 2012, I became baptized to join my other 3 family members that were already baptized.
It's the best decision I've ever made in my life.
About a year ago, Laurie and I fell in love again. I proposed to her, and we got remarried in the Worcester County Church.
And our story doesn't end there, just being baptized. Shortly after McKenna became a Christian, we started dating again, and took a couple years in the church dating and maturing and working through the baggage we brought with us from the world. Till about 2 months ago, we got engaged. I asked McKenna to be my wife, and she said yes, and we're going to be married in 2 weeks on August 16th. And now Hayden, who's now our 3-year-old daughter, has a chance to grow up in the kingdom and be influenced by God and God's people her whole life, and it's awesome.
We're the Renshaw family, and with God, everything is possible.